Good morning, friends. It's Crazy Cheap Chick. I'm here at Dillon's, getting ready to go inside and see if I can find a few bargains. When I get home, I will show you what I found, talk about my strategies on saving money this week, show you some other bargains I found, and if you stick around to the end, I'll even tell you a little story. Due to my little boo-boo, I'm not going to be cooking a lot this week because it's hard for me to be on my feet. And John Wayne's going to be gone much of the week because he's going up to my dad's to work on the house, but I'm not going since my foot is banged up. My granddaughter took me up to the grocery store and we spent $112.83. I'm going to show you what we got. I always start with full price items first. This romaine lettuce had been $3.49, but I had a loaded coupon, so it rang up for $2.89. I can't even believe I am willing to spend $6.99 for a loaf of bread, but I have been. Now, a loaf of bread like this will last us 2 to 3 weeks because we don't eat a lot of sliced bread, and I put it in the freezer and just take it out as I need it. This half and half, Kroger jumped the price up from $3.49 to $3.79. They don't even bother trying to disguise it a nickel or a dime at a time anymore. They just, here's a big increase. Then the broccoli cuts were $1.25. We eat a lot of broccoli, so I got 4 packages of that. The grapes were on sale. These were $3.58, and I think they were $1.99 a pound. The cheese was on sale for $2.49 a package. It was one of those buy 5 of a variety of things, and you got $1 off. But I just made it all cheese because we eat a lot of cheese. And 2 of them did ring up for $2.49. And these 3 rang up less. This one rang up $1.99, this one rang up $1.99, and this one rang up $1.74 because I had some loaded coupons. These little tomatoes were on sale for $2.99. This Old El Paso chicken cheese enchilada style soup was on sale for $1.49. I went ahead and got 5 more cans. I like this stuff. It's low carb, 9 carbs, and pretty high protein, 6 grams of protein, and the calories are 160 for 1 cup. And they consider this about 2 servings. And we've been eating this with lunch and a little side salad. It's pretty good. Then, since John Wayne's going to be out of town and staying in the travel trailer, and I won't be there to cook for him, I bought these. These were on sale this week. I think they were $2.99. Yeah, they were $2.99. These are called Power Bowls, healthy choice. They're fairly low calorie and high protein. So like this one's got 21 grams of protein in it. But they also have carbs in them, so some of them are higher carbs than others. And I just got 5 different kinds. He can have these in the travel trailer and he can heat them up for lunches. I'll also send him some soup. I also got a couple for me. I'll probably have this home-style beef pot roast one night. It was $2.49. Or this slow roasted turkey breast. I think it was $2.49. Also with the side salad. That's really all I need. Now we bought a carton of this sparkling Spindrift sparkling water, grapefruit flavored, and it was $2.49 on clearance. And my granddaughter already put them in the refrigerator, but we opened one just to try it. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of sparkling water. Found these eggs on clearance. There's 6 in a package. They were 72 cents. That's about half what eggs cost here, more than half really. And we've been eating a lot of eggs. Also found this ham. It was $2.45. It had been $6.99. If I was going to say best deal, it might be these. Sweet and smoky barbecue chicken breast fillets, $2.70. I got 5 of them. These make really good dinners for us, and I don't have to repackage them to freeze them. Then these pork chops, 4 pork chops for $4.71. They had been $11.81. This little top round, I don't know if you'd call it a steak or a roast, was marked down from $19.83 to $12.69. That's still kind of high, but that's enough for probably 4 meals for us. And this might have been my best deal. I don't know. They had this mozzarella cheese ravioli marked down to $2.77. And I had coupons, so each of these rang up for $1.77. Got a package of ground beef for $4.47, and this little mixed bag of fruit. 2 apples, I think that's a grapefruit, and 3 limes for $1.50. So that's what I got for my $113. Now, this week, we'll probably have chicken breast one night with some broccoli and a potato. We'll probably have ravioli one night with maybe a little bit of hamburger. We'll probably have pork chops with maybe a sweet potato. And we'll probably have this brisket with maybe some mashed cauliflower. But we could also have grilled cheese sandwiches with that soup. Or we could make a really nice salad with some roasted chicken on top. I've got lots of cheese and a lot of meat and a lot of eggs, so it's going to be a pretty low-carb week, even though I am having to resort to some frozen meals, which I don't think are the healthiest, but hopefully it at least keeps us on track. I've reached that age where I'm starting to lose friends and family. It's so sad. Anyway, I was at Lowe's today. I wanted to see if they had any clearance plants. They did not. But they had this green weeping willow for $34.98. And my son-in-law's dad just died. And I decided to get him this tree. And I thought it was kind of appropriate. It was a weeping willow to plant in memoriam to his father. And I think he would probably enjoy this more than flowers. This is something that you can plant in your yard and always have in memory of your dad. I don't often go to Dollar General, but I did today, and I spent $11.25. Now, the main thing I went there to get was a sympathy card, because sympathy cards have gotten so outrageously expensive. They're like $3, $4, $5, and you can still get them at Dollar General for $1. And it's a sympathy card. It looks like a sympathy card. It's going to go with that tree that I bought. Then someone had told me that coffee filters were less expensive at the dollar store, so I decided to check that out. It was $1.65 for 40. When I bought these at Dillon's, I believe they were $4.50 for 100. I got this little doodad, and I may paint it. It had been $3, but it was half off because it was into summer clearance, so I think it was $1.50. This one was on clearance for $2.70, but then they took $1.35 more off of it. And this was $1, this kind of off-brand pine sol. Not sure how much this was. And then all of these. These little plants were all half off, fake plants. So $1.50, $1.50. I think this rang up for 50 cents. And these 2 things rang up for 50 cents. So anyway, that's how I spent my $11.25. The reason I bought the pine sol, though, and I did get the cheap stuff, but I also got the real stuff because I really want to try this. At my dad's house, the flies are driving me insane. And I read on the internet that if you put pine sol in a spray bottle and spray it all over the outside of your house, that flies hate it and it'll cut down flies. So I haven't really had much of a problem at my house, but at Dad's house, it's horrible. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to put this on a spray bottle and I'll let you know if it works. Topeka had a Kirkland store and it just went out of business. And I bought a couple of things there. I bought this little shelf. And I think I paid $15 for it. And then I had to buy this plant. This is a real plant that I bought at Lowe's. And I think it was around $10 or $12. I remember thinking, oh man, I'm paying almost as much for the plant as the shelf. Well, now I got this fake plant at the Dollar Tree that I'm going to put up there too. So I think that'll look kind of nice. I'll show you the other thing I got at Kirkland's. I also got this mirror. And it had been super expensive, and I think I paid $20 for it. Here's my $1.50 Dollar General plants. And this is that little thing I bought for $1 at a garage sale. But it looks like I could have used 3, so now I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find a third one. I spent about the usual amount at Goodwill today, $43.96 pre-tax. I got these socks. brand new for $3.35. My oldest grandson plays the guitar, and I thought these socks were super fitting, so I got them for him for $3.35. Then I got this, I guess it's like one of those Scentsy electric candle wax warmers. I have to be super careful. I have a sensitivity to strong smells, to scents, to perfume, to air freshener, to candles. And so I don't know if I can handle this or not. It was only $2.63. I'll take it out and show it to you in a minute. And then I found another one of these flameless candle sets. You know how much I love these flameless candles. I've been finding them at garage sales and paying $5 to $10. This was $3.62. It was $4.25, but Tuesdays is a senior discount day of 15% off, so it was slightly less than that. I got these Skechers shoes, practically brand new, and they were $6.51. Actually, I think they were $8.20. I bought 3 pairs of shoes. 2 of them were $6.51, and one was $8.20 because they said they were men's shoes. So I'm not sure which one they considered men's shoes because they were all marked $9.64. So anyway, we'll say these were the $8.20 shoes, these Skechers. Well, this was probably my best deal. Hardly worn, if ever worn. Don't look like they've ever been worn. These are Clarks. Clarks are super expensive. I'll try to put on the side here what I think they cost brand new. I can usually find them online. I can tell you what they're selling for used. But I think these shoes brand new were about $120. These shoes here, which I really like, I can't wear a heel anymore. I don't know. Bad feet, too many foot surgeries. I cannot wear heels. But these were pretty cute for $6.51. And these came from Nordstrom's. They're still being sold, or basically the same thing, for about $50. I got this nightgown. It was $4.20. And I got this. I don't know if you remember, I got one of these last week. And this week they had another one, and I might put that down the center of my table for fall. I don't know. The other one is in my travel trailer right now, so I'm going to have to bring them back home. And I think they had $5.25 on it, so whatever 15% off at $5.25 is. And then one other thing that I got these 2 pictures. I thought they were really kind of cool. They were marked $5.25, so they rang up $4.49. And I don't know if you can tell, they're textured. And I'm probably going to give it to my granddaughter. My little granddaughter is a ballerina. So there's this one, and there's this one. And I thought they were pretty. So I thought she might like them for her room. If not, I might put them in a bathroom I have. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. I will tell you, and this should not come to a surprise if you watch my videos and see how many shoes I buy, that I own over 100 pairs of shoes. But I wear almost the same shoes every day. And I need to go through those shoes and get rid of the heels for one. And I almost didn't buy these because I thought, man, you have so many shoes. You have over 100 pairs of shoes. And then I thought, just because I have achieved a life goal of owning 100 pairs of shoes, does that mean I have to stop there? I don't think so. It just kills me. I mean, like, this thing's never been opened. It was still all in its original packaging. 2 of these for $2.63. That's crazy. As always, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. There's been a lot going on here, and most of it not good. Last week, my dad had to have surgery. It was kind of a day surgery. Went home that day. And then the very next day, John Wayne and I were carrying a piece of furniture down to our basement because we were kind of rearranging things. And it wasn't heavy or large, but I thought we were at the bottom of the stairs. It turns out there was one more step. And I fell pretty good. And I really expected to look down and see a bone sticking out of my foot. It hurt that bad. And John Wayne managed to get me up the stairs. I don't know how. I was able to kind of pull myself up using the railing a little bit, but it was so painful. And he's like, let's get you on the couch. Let's put an ice pack on it. And I'm like, this is not an ice pack event. This is an ER event. He's like, okay, let's get you to the ER. The thing is, I couldn't walk to the car. I barely made it to the couch. And so we had to call 911. And the ambulance and the firemen came. And we turned away the ambulance. The firemen were able to get on either side of me and basically carry me to the car, and it wasn't that far. And when I got to the ER, the nurses are like, oh, I hope it was at least some big hunky firemen. And I'm like, John Wayne's a retired fireman. I know lots of firemen, and they're the salt of the earth, best guys in the world, but you would have a hard time in most apartments making up one of those sexy calendars, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I was so grateful for their help, and they got me out to the car, and I did have a fracture, but it's a kind of fracture, it's mostly soft tissue, but when the ligament tore, it tore off a chunk of bone. And so I'm in a boot. It's not very pleasant, and then the day after that happened, my mom had major surgery, and my mom's still in the hospital. So I have to go to the hospital in this big clunky boot. It makes everything harder. But it's better just to stay positive. And I'm just so grateful that my mom's getting better, and I'm so grateful that my injury wasn't worse. So a lot of people really tend to look on the negative side, but it's really better for you if you can find things to be grateful for and to stay positive. And that's what I'm really trying hard to do right now. And I think I'm succeeding. But anyway, if you stick around all the way to the end, I usually tell you a story to entertain you. And I think this story is pretty entertaining. It did not happen to me, though. It happened to a friend of mine. And this friend, we've been friends a long time, and if he tells it to me, I know it's true. And he's not even a person who exaggerates, so this really happened. So we're friends with this couple, and we had gone out to dinner one night, and this happened 2 or 3 years ago, so I hope I get the details correct. But I knew he hadn't grown up in Kansas, that he'd grown up in California, and so I was asking him, what did your dad do in California? How'd you end up there? How'd your family end up there? Just talking like you do to get to know people. He goes, well, my dad was a sign painter. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And he goes, on movie sets. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And he's like, yeah, anytime you watch Bonanza or Gunsmoke or mostly Westerns, and he said, if you see a sign and it says saloon or livery stable that way or Carson City, 50 miles, whatever signs were in the TV episodes, he said, my dad painted all those. And so he said every week he painted signs, and a lot of times he got to go with him to work. And he said it wasn't just Westerns, he worked on a lot of different movie sets. But he said one of the movie sets that he worked on was an Elvis movie. And he said that he was probably like 7, 8 years old. And I don't remember the name of the Elvis movie. I think he told me at the time, but I have forgotten. And he said that in the movie, there was a big airplane hangar, and there was a big airplane in the hangar, but the action was going on in front of the plane down on the ground. And Elvis was acting with several other people. And he said, but I'm 7, I'm there with my dad, and there's this airplane, and he's like, I just had to go see that airplane. So he said, I got up inside the airplane. And Elvis and the other actors were acting down in front of the airplane. And then all of a sudden, he said the director noticed, hey, there's a kid in that plane. He said everyone looked up, And he said, and I kind of froze because I was in the plane pretending to fly the plane and making plane sounds. And all of a sudden, all these adults, including Elvis Presley, are looking at me. And he said the director was furious because they had to stop the scene. Get that kid out of there. And he said, they come hustling up there to get him out of the plane. And he said Elvis Presley was like, oh man, just give the kid a break. The kid's not doing anything wrong. Come here, little boy. And he said, I got called over by Elvis Presley and talked to him. He said he didn't really remember what Elvis had said, but basically he said Elvis Presley saved my hide because that director was furious that I had been up inside that plane. And so he said his impression was that Elvis Presley was just a really nice guy. And, he was glad that he didn't get in trouble, that, everybody kind of calmed down and his dad got him and took him away. But, he has met a lot of famous people through his father's job because, I think on movie sets back then in the 60s, I think it was pretty loosey-goosey. A lot of people took their kids with them, and their kids or families traveled with them on these movies, or else they never would have seen their families. So it's probably a lot different today, but at least back in the 60s, he said there would always be, some kids around. A lot of people had their children with them because they were on location. And they either got to go see their parents or they were staying in the location with their parents. They got to go to the set. And normally it wasn't a problem. It was just this particular time he had snuck away from his dad, climbed up in an airplane, and was in the scene. And it got noted and stopped. So I always thought that was a really interesting little story that my friend told me. And I know it's true because my friend he's low key. If I hadn't asked the questions and pulled it out of him, he never would have told it. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You just have to ask people a lot of questions, and you can get them talking, and you can find out the most fascinating things about people if you just take the time to ask questions. Most people I have found tend to talk more about current events or themselves or their health or their job, but oftentimes if you ask a question like, have you ever met a famous person? Or, what's your biggest regret in life? What's your biggest accomplishment? And really get people to sit and think. You have some really interesting conversations. So anyway, that's my story for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the bargain hunting. Things are not going to go down. They're going to stay high, and so we just have to find workarounds. Don't stress about it. There are ways to spend less even in a bad economy. And at my age, I have seen economies go up and down, up and down. So you just got to roll with the punches, not get too depressed about it or upset. Just find your workarounds, and we'll find lots of workarounds, I promise you. I've been working on a lot of stuff to share with you. So if you are not already a subscriber, it really helps me out as a really tiny YouTuber if you will go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Even, you don't have to watch every video, I don't care. Just watch the ones you want. But if you subscribe, it helps me. And if you do watch a video, if you give me a thumbs up, especially if you comment, hype it, share it. All of those things really help small YouTubers out, not just me. Stay positive, share your ideas on saving money, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great week. Oh, buddy, we do see you though. We get those at our house quite a bit. Yeah. Down in the creek. Feeding on frogs or little tiny fish. It's pretty. I'm gonna make him fly. You gonna see him fly? Here he goes. He's gonna go.